Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Stevenson, and I am a senior sales coordinator with the Juice Plus company. I've been with the company 5 years now, and I absolutely love every bit of it, from the products to the people. And I want to introduce you guys to our product line, which is a very small product line. We have our fruit blend. Let me see if you guys can see this. Our fruit blend, we have our veggie blend and our berry blend. And we also have our omega blend, which is one of my favorites because I feel like a lot of doctors will be like, oh, you just need omega 3s. And this omega is amazing because it's not only is it vegan and it's straight from the source, but it's 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And I feel like you can't find that anywhere. This is like a gold standard product. The whole product line really is. And one of my favorite things also about the other products is that they have nutrition labels on them. And I feel like that's extremely hard to find. This product is tested, it's NSF certified, it's kosher. A lot of athletes can take this. So it's super safe. It's safe for pregnant women, for kids. If kids got into this product, nothing's going to happen to them. They might have the runs, but you don't have to take them to the hospital. And I train a lot. So I love these complete shakes. They're absolutely delicious. I feel like before I found Juice Plus, before it was introduced to me, I used to hate drinking my shakes. I would try all different kinds of vegan shakes and they were disgusting. Whey is, as some of us know, is really bad for us. It causes inflammation in the body. So I absolutely love these shakes. And short story about myself is that I was introduced to this product by Josh Duhan, and he found me in the canyon. I was super skeptical about taking this product. I was not going to take it. He was like, you have to try this out. I was like, there's no way. I'm super healthy. I was an ex-elite gymnast. So my mom's always kind of cooked for us. And I never really ate sugar or things like that, but he didn't know I was suffering with kidney infections. So I was in and out of the hospital for almost 6 years, and I had an IV in my arm because I would pretty much get a UTI and it would go into my kidneys. And I had no symptoms of a UTI. And so I'd automatically get a kidney infection. I'd be walking around and all of a sudden within like 10 minutes, I had a fever. I'm throwing up. It feels like you have broken ribs. The first time that I had this experience, I went to the hospital and I for sure was like, I have broken ribs. I don't know how it happened, but I'm in so much pain. And so they sent me home saying that I didn't. And they told me that I had maybe bruised ribs. So they gave me like Norcos, sent me home, and I got even sicker the next day, ended up in a hospital again. And then the other hospital called me back. They're like, oh my gosh, like we tested your urine and you have a UTI. And I was like, great, thanks. So I started taking this product, and like I said, I was super skeptical about it at first. And I say about 2 months into taking this product consistently, because if you're going to take this product, it has to be consistent. Otherwise, I always say don't even bother. And I immediately started feeling like I was getting new hair growth. Like I could see it in my hairline. My energy felt better. I felt like happier. And I remember turning to my friend and I was like, dude, this stuff really works. And she was like, yeah, I can feel it. Like it was just an energy about it. My skin started changing. Everyone started noticing that my skin was like glowing a lot. I didn't really break out or get acne, but I had a dullness to my skin because I used to get facials all the time. And now I just have more of this glow to my skin. When I train, I can train super hard. I train 5 times a week. I experience no muscle fatigue. I always feel great. I feel like this product has done so much for me. So it made me want to share with like my friends and family. And I was like, if this could help me with my issues that I'm having, because it's just food in a capsule, like imagine what this could do for other people, because we're all dealing with different things in our body. We're obviously not all the same, and we're all suffering with different issues. And so I just started sharing it with my friends and family, and then it kind of turned into a business. And I absolutely am so grateful for it because it allows me, especially during the times of COVID, it allowed me to stay home, and my business boomed, and it just took off so much more because people were so much more interested in health or working from home, because we got to experience people losing their jobs and things like this. And I didn't have to suffer from that. So I absolutely love this company. I love the community, and yeah, that's pretty much my story, and that's it. And I'm going to introduce Christy. She's wonderful. I've actually met her in real life, and she's going to introduce the rest of her team.
Wonderful. Well, love hearing your story, Jocelyn. Can everybody hear me okay and see me okay? Yes, thumbs up. Can you? Okay, awesome, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I am going to share my story last. I am going to introduce two of my amazing team members. I think it's important, it is for me at least, to understand how you meet people. When I first started, I was in corporate America, and I didn't have much of a life outside of corporate America in my job. And so when I thought about network marketing, I loved the idea of it, but I thought, how in the world are people finding people? Like, are these just all their friends? So I'm going to introduce the first person on my team. He's a sales coordinator. His name is Mark Jenkins, and he's a celebrity personal trainer. So he has trained people like Beyonce and Mary J. Blige and P. Diddy and a bunch of other people. Some of them I don't know, actually know who they are, but they're very famous rappers, and Mark laughs that I don't know who they are. He actually just flew back today from a 30-day intensive transformation with D'Angelo from New York. He's back in Los Angeles. But there is an app that came out called Clubhouse. And I think it's so important. When I left corporate America, I was trying to figure out how in the world I was going to find people and meet people and connect authentically with them. About a year ago, an app came out called Clubhouse, and it's an audio app. And we all have our preferences. Texting is not my thing. You know, messaging people in Facebook is not my thing, although I do it. And the second person here that I'm going to introduce, that's how I met her. But audio is where I think if people can hear your tone and the authenticity and the realness and how genuine you are, I can connect a lot faster. And so this app came out, and I was moderating in the Clubhouse room, and this celebrity personal trainer came up. And I was able to ask him a few questions about my own training and my own health. And he answered them. And after the fact, I jumped on Instagram, and I saw him, and I thought, I'm going to ask this guy to be in my business. And then I saw how many followers he had, and I saw all the pictures and what amazing shape he was in. And I started, like, all of a sudden he was moving to my chicken list real quick. But I had the courage. I didn't let it go too far. For me, I always leverage physiology. And so when I leave the gym, ironically enough, this guy's a trainer, but when I leave the gym, that's when my energy is the highest. That's when my confidence is the highest. And so as soon as I got out of the gym, I thought that I was, pretty tough and big and bulletproof. And I sent him a message to see if he kept his income options open. He said yes, and we scheduled a Zoom. So Mark Jenkins has been a pleasure to interact with. He's a good friend of mine, and he has just been an asset to the team. So I'm going to turn it over to Mark, and he can tell you why he said yes to both the product and the business.
Hey guys. Hey Christy. Hey Jocelyn, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
Since the convention. Good to see you.
Yes.
How's it going, everybody? Cool. So now, I'll pick up where Christy left off. So as she said, we met on Clubhouse, and she hit me up and would you keep your income options open? I was like, yeah, but in reality, I had a supplement deal I was just about to sign for my own Mark Jenkins line. And so Christy was talking about the product and how incredible it was. And I was like, yeah. I hear you. But honestly, I think I told you, right? I said, I have a supplement deal going on right now. So I have a deal. Yeah, I'm about to get my own vitamin out and this, that, and the other. And we kept on talking, and Christy was very cool. She goes, oh yeah, but here's the research and studies. And I was like, man, you know what? She seems very honest. She seems very apple pie. That was what I got from Christy. And I said, you know what? Just on a whim, I said, you know what? I'm going to buy it because I like that she was so honest. Here's the product. It was just like very forthright, her energy, the studies. And I got the product. So I said, Christy, I get the product. She's like, well, you're not going to feel anything until, what'd you say, 4 months, right? Until your cells turn over or something?
Possibly, yeah.
You might not feel anything for 4 months until your cells turn over. And I was like, man, what? I got to buy this for 4 months? I was already mad. Right? So I'm like, damn, she got me. So interestingly enough, by the second or third week, I noticed I could train. I wasn't getting sore in my workouts. I wasn't getting sore. That's what happened. I was like, man, so I could push harder. I wasn't getting sore. My recovery was going up, and I wasn't doing anything different than the Juice Plus. And then every day I started feeling a little bit, and I didn't feel bad before, but I just felt less inflamed, quicker recovered, more hard to describe verbally, but I felt like my wellness overall was better, if that makes any sense. And so I called Christy and I was like, hey, I'm not doing anything different. I know you said 4 months. And then she was like, well, that's, they tell us to say that, but usually it happens a lot quicker. And I was like, wow, okay. So then I started getting my clients on it, and my clients got the same effect. And pretty much that made me a believer, not only my experience, because, if you would like to, and I often think about, like, if I were to see a lot of these testimonials without actually taking the product, would I actually buy the product? Because it sounds quite over the top unless you have your own personal experience. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, you can't believe somebody unless it actually happened to you. You can't believe the story is really real. So once I got an actual product experience, and I was like, wow, I'm not doing anything different. I'm 52 years old. I'm running 8 to 10 miles plus lifting weights, 2-3 times a week, plus doing jujitsu, plus riding motorcycles, plus boxing. And I'm recovering faster than I was 2 or 3 years ago. And all I'm doing is taking Juice Plus. It was like a fantastic, not only did it allow me to get more out of my own training, but it allowed me to train my clients that much harder without feeling guilty, because I was confident that they were recovering and I wasn't getting them even more inflamed from the actual day. So a lot of times you don't really want to push the client as hard as you can, because their inflammation markers are already up high, and you're sometimes doing more damage than good. So it made me feel good in that sense. I could really push the person because I knew they were getting proper nutrition to recover, and proper phytonutrients to keep that inflammation down. So, and that's pretty much my Juice Plus story more. And on top of that, and I'd only met Christy at the convention when I met Jocelyn, but it seemed like we'd known each other for so long. The people are so incredible in the organization, and everybody has a similar experience. So it's good to be around. Usually I'm the one who's trying to get everybody else motivated to be well, but it's great to be around like-minded people. So, I'll add that in as well. And, if you got any questions, I'm here for you. Was that good, Christy? That's okay?
Yeah, no, that was great, Mark. So 2 questions for you. Can you tell them, you had energy and you had recovery. Can you tell them, how many, if you haven't seen Mark's pictures on Instagram, you have to go to Mark Jenkins on Instagram and just see what this guy's body looks like. But to have a body like that, do you eat fruit, Mark, ever?
Yeah, so that was the missing link for me. Yeah, definitely. The reason I think that I had such a dramatic reaction was because, I've been, low carbohydrate dieting for decades, so I only had carbohydrates post-workout or once a day in the morning. That was the majority of my carbohydrates, and it wasn't fruit. So I was definitely already deficient in my fruits. And I think that was a big difference. Once I was able to get the fruits in there, it was a game changer for me. And I think that's big for a lot of people who are bodybuilders. I think that's a huge selling point for personal trainers. You should definitely talk to them about, because we're always watching our carbohydrates. So we, by nature, taking less fruits than the average person would. So it's a good selling point. It's worked for me as well when I'm speaking to people in the fitness business.
Yeah. I think we all shake our head because we all know that we stay away from the sugar in the fruit, whether it's because we're diabetic, or some of us, it covers up our abs and in our other muscles. Now tell us a little bit, what did your business look like during COVID, and why did you say yes to the Juice Plus business? Why did it make sense to you?
Oh, admittedly, I was a little bit lazy business-wise. I had been relying on word of mouth. I've personal trainer for the last 25, 30 years. And, I would get, Mary J. Blige would tell Diddy to train with me, and then Diddy would train Beyonce. So, I wasn't really putting much into marketing or the brand. I had a good brand based on results. So I didn't put And then once the pandemic happened and there were no gyms opening and people weren't let you come into their houses, it forced me to look at other areas and to diversify. So it was great timing that Juice Plus came along at the same time, because not only was I able to diversify internationally, it's with a product that people can feel almost instantaneously. So it's not like a hard sell or insincere sell. I actually had an experience, and the majority of my clients within the first month or two are like, wow, I feel something different.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for being here, Mark. We're going to move on to Dr. Nahas. But before we do so, if anybody has a personal trainer and you want to hear Mark's story, it is on his Instagram. So if you scroll down to January, we told this story on the Level Up stage. So if you have any personal trainers that you want to hear a lot of the things that Mark just said, you can tag them in that video. And then, hopefully that will help you get them closed up as well. So thanks for being here, Mark. We are going to go to Dr. Nahas next. And Dr. Nahas is a pediatrician in Covington, Georgia. And she has been with a Juice Plus partner for about the past year. And I want to tell you how I met her again, just so that you all again can think about where you can look for people as well. So I have a background in medical device sales, and so I'm very comfortable talking to doctors. And I stumbled upon a Facebook group. Now, Facebook groups are a great place to grow. You want to look for people that you have. Who's your avatar, right? Who do you have things in common with? Who do you, who will respect you? And I stumbled upon this group, Multiple Streams of Income for Healthcare Providers. All right. Now, I will tell you, I've since been kicked out of this group, but that doesn't matter. This happens sometimes. And I was kicked out of this group because I accidentally sent the admin of the group a message to see if she'd be interested. And so, that you're not supposed to do that. And so obviously I got caught right away because I messaged her. But Dr. Nahas is still in that group, and she can recruit out of there in a different way. She just can't send a message to the admin. And I share that in case that's happened to you. Sometimes you go, oh my goodness, but we just keep on rolling. We just keep on learning. So Dr. Nahas is a pediatrician in Covington, Georgia, and I met her in this group. So I knew that she was already looking for ways to diversify her income. And she's conventionally and also trained in integrative pediatrics. She's an absolute pleasure. She's becoming a dear friend of mine, and she has an incredible story. I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Nahas, so I don't spill the beans. I always want to tell your story for you, but please share everything that you've experienced on this product for you and your family.
Yeah, thank you, Christy. So when Christy and I met, I was looking to branch out into functional medicine. So I'm looking to add on more services to what I do. And I'm in that group trying to network, trying to get ideas. So when she approached me with the Juice Plus, I had done Amway before, if some of you remember that MLM. And I kind of had a bad taste left in my mouth because I really worked hard in that business and went nowhere. So I was afraid to do this as an MLM, but I told her I would definitely promote the product if I believed in it to my patients. And so that's how I got signed on. I figured $52, that's nothing for me. Let's do it. And then she plugged the message in my ear. And that's really what hooked me, was that this helps picky eaters. I'm like, I definitely have a lot of picky eaters in my practice, and my son is one of them. And he was 16 at the time. And basically every time I cook dinner, every night for the last 15 years, let's say, because that's when he started eating solids, he was very refusing to eat what I cooked. And he would pull out all of the vegetables from his plate and only eat the meat and the starch. And I had to discover a lot of ways to hide the vegetables. He was okay with fruits, but the veggies were no pass. And I had to figure out ways to blend them and hide them and puree them. And it was a lot of work. And my husband was getting irritated with me because now my son is 16 and he shouldn't be eating pureed foods anymore. So come in with Juice Plus. And after he took the gummies for about 2 to 3 months, he didn't pick at his food as much. He actually would tell me, this was good, Mom. I'm like, what? Am I hearing this from my son? So I thought, wow, there's something to this. And I started promoting the products even more, enthusiastically to my clients. And I built a small following, not much, but I wasn't promoting it as I am in the last couple of months with Christy's help. So what happened, beginning of March, I believe, is that right, Christy? I'm getting fuzzy on the timeline, but I think beginning of March, my daughter came home from college and she had really bad acne. And I thought, you know what, why don't you start taking this too? I'll start taking it more, regularly, because I would take it and then forget, take it and then forget. And so with us three taking the Juice Plus program, my husband decided he was going to also do it with us. He has diabetes, and I've learned over the years not to push any health advice on him because he's not going to take anything from his wife. He trusts his doctors, but not me in terms of healthcare. So I didn't approach him at all with the Juice Plus. I just put it on the table and that was it. The next day he says, my blood sugar's down 30 points. I wonder if it's the Juice Plus. I said, well, just keep taking it and keep measuring like you've been doing. I sent Christy the 2 pages for the weeks that he monitored. And every day that he took the Juice Plus, which has been consistent, his points were 30 to 40 points lower than it would have been before he started. And that was the only thing he changed in his diet or in his lifestyle. My daughter's acne is improving. It's not gone, but it is improving. And you know how it is in college life, you're eating a lot of bad food. But she is trying to make better choices. And as far as my health, it's more subtle because, like I said, I've dabbled in taking my Juice Plus until recently, but now I'm seeing like my hair is growing thicker. I think somebody else mentioned that, Jocelyn, I believe. And my blood pressure dropped. I was ironing 1 week into taking it regularly. I was ironing and sending with a pile of laundry, and I felt super faint. And I thought, oh my God, let me check my blood pressure. It was so low that I had to cut my pill in half. So now I'm taking half of my medication while I'm taking Juice Plus. My sleep has improved. And then I went to the dentist, I think a couple of weeks into taking Juice Plus, and she made the remark, the hygienist made the remark that I've never seen your gums this healthy. What are you doing? And I told her about Juice Plus. So hopefully she'll become a client as well. So that's my story so far. I'm putting a lot of kids on the product, and I'm hoping to hear lots of good stories from their parents. Those kids are picky eaters. Most of them are even give us a hard time with the gummies unless we put the gummies together, like the fruit and the veggie together, and then they'll take them. So hopefully I can do some good in their life and get them to eat more veggies and be healthier kids growing up and not need me as a doctor after all. Thanks.
What a beautiful story. I love it. And I got a chance to meet Dr. Nahas, and I haven't met. We've known each other for a year. We met last 2 weeks ago. I was down in Atlanta and she shared all of this because a lot of this was new. And it's amazing what happens when you have the enthusiasm, right? So when you're excited about things, the people around you are excited. So when you're excited about conference, everybody else gets excited too. And so, that's why it's so important to plug in and hear stories like this, because sometimes we have bad days, some days we have good days, but if you keep your energy high and your enthusiasm high, it will spread onto everybody. And Dr. Nahas has added 16 new customers since all of this has happened just in the month of April. So that's a record for her and for a lot of us. Like, what would your business do if you added 16 new customers? But it was because she took the product consistently, and so did her family. And guess what? She had a good customer experience. So this is why it's so important to stay on people and encourage them to take it consistently, because the only way you could have a good patient or customer experience is if you swallow the capsules the way that you're supposed to, right? So one other question for you: why does the Juice Plus business make sense to you? And what's the hope that you have that this business is going to allow you to do?
Yeah. So when I signed up last year, it was really just as a service to my community, to my practice. I see about 5,000 kids in my practice, and I know a lot of them have health issues that are chronic. Unfortunately, COVID made things 10 times worse. So I want to kind of help them learn to eat the right way. And sometimes you need a bridge. You can't just say, go eat 5 to 7 vegetables and fruits in a day. So you need a bridge. And I find those gummies are really a nice way to build a new habit and to start thinking about health and food. But the personal reason I'm doing this, it was my son, to be honest. Yeah, that was the first personal reason. The second personal reason now is my own health. I have some inflammatory issues that I feel like, you know, if I can control that and manipulate that and extend my health, I'm all over it. And also I want to retire pretty soon, maybe before 65. So if I can build an income that will help me make that lifestyle possible, of where I don't have to hustle, I don't have to go into the clinic every day, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing that we know is healthcare providers are searching for another way to serve, to make an income. And we know because of the group that we're in, I mean, how many thousands of people are in that group that are looking for a way out of traditional medicine because they want to focus on their own health or they want to focus on their own passion. So you just keep asking the question, do you keep your income options open? And you'd be surprised. Cheryl always says, we don't prejudge. You never know who may be looking for something. So, if you offer them the product and the business at the same time, you just never know who, and you never know who knows who. Sometimes that opens the door where they know somebody that is interested in the opportunity as well. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything. You're a pleasure to work with. And I'm going to share my story quickly and then turn it back over to Cheryl. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Christy Cool. I reside in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was introduced to this product about 3.5 years ago. And I had a career in medical device sales. I have an MBA. I was a corporate woman for 15 years, which is sexy for about the first 2 weeks of travel. And then, the next 15 years was, just really a grind. I learned a lot. I honed a lot of skills, made a lot of relationships, made a lot of financial gains to give me some choices in life. But I found myself, when I found this product 3.5 years ago, I just could not get on the right side of wellness. I had been burning the candle at both ends for so long and living a high stress life. And there's one thing I was doing that I didn't realize was really affecting my health, and it was living out of alignment. And Mark Jenkins and I talk a lot about, if this does not contribute positively to my wellness, I'm out. And that's people, that's relationships, that's the politics at work, and so a lot of that was stacking for me: the travel, the inconsistency of having good nutrition, the inconsistency of sleep, and also being in an environment that really wasn't what I was cut out for. I don't like politics. Mark had said that, that the wholesomeness of who I am is what attracted him to say yes in the business. And somebody else had commented on my team in the comments the same, so that didn't necessarily coincide with corporate America. And, we were, there's a lot of ruthless people there, and I didn't trust anybody, but trust is one of my core values. So that was eating at me as well. And that was really deteriorating my health. And so I found myself where, I had brain fog, I had eczema, my legs and my hands were covered in eczema. I was constipated. I didn't feel good. I was starting to have anxiety, and I was seeing a naturopath, and she couldn't get me on the right side of wellness. I came home with this many containers of things to take. And after 6 months, I didn't budge. And I had done a cleanse, a Tony Robbins cleanse in Fiji several years beforehand. And I stayed in touch with the person who led that cleanse. A lot of you know that's Lauren Lahav, my direct upline. I reached out to her and I said, hey, do you have any idea what in the world's going on with me? And she said, yeah, I know exactly what's going on with you. And she was so confident. And I thought that it made me perk up and go, okay, well, what in the world is it? And she said, well, I think you have a phytonutrient deficiency. And I'm, well studied. I had to know all these clinical studies to sell these devices, et cetera, and deal with physicians. I had no idea what that word is. And I said, what is a phytonutrient? And so she kind of chuckled, like, now I really know you're deficient because you don't know what it is, but it's the goodness that we know it's the goodness found in plants. And I thought, well, I don't need any fruit like Mark Jenkins. It covers up my abs. And I grew up in the Midwest, and we didn't have a lot growing up. So we shoveled our food in, my whole family. We would shovel our food in and then would get back to our chores or get back to our work. And so I had made big strides since doing that cleanse, where I would sit down and actually chew a salad and chew the way I was supposed to. But that was one meal out of the day. It was not 3, 4, 5 meals that I was eating. Everything else was a shovel. And so Lauren said, I'm going to send you something, give it 4 months and we'll reevaluate. And she said, I know you're type A, probably a little more than the traditional type A. It's not good. This is not like an aspirin. And I said, okay. And I just took the product and I forgot about it. I just, like she said, I put it on board. I was taking all this other stuff. Well, 5 days later, I had energy like I hadn't had before. Then 10 days later, the dark circles under my eyes went away. Now, I have a very fast metabolism and I never liked fruits and vegetables. I had dark circles under my eyes since I was a baby. I just thought that was the way that God made me. But the fact that once I had the right nutrients, the dark circles went away, I thought, oh my goodness. And then in 2 weeks, all the eczema went away and I haven't had it since. And then in 3 weeks, I went to get my hair done. And she said, you have all this new hair growth. What in the world are you doing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that stuff must be working. It's the only thing that I changed. So I reached out to Lauren and I was, shocked and she wasn't, of course. And she offered me the business. And that's when my ego got in the way because I said, I don't even like those people. I didn't know it was network marketing. I looked at the clinical data and I thought, this is really good clinical data. I could get behind this. And then when she told me how the business was set up, I thought, every network marketer I've encountered, I really tried to eat them for lunch because they just didn't, they went about it in a way that I didn't respect. And so I was kind of turned off. Now I signed the distributor application the same day that I ordered the product, but I didn't do anything with the business really for a long time because first of all, I didn't want that identity of being a professional network marketer. And secondly, I didn't know what in the world I was doing. I knew how to call on doctors and CEOs. I had no idea how to talk to people and I didn't have a big network. So it took me going to conference and it took me going to GoPro to start to get, to have my eyes opened up. But what was happening in my personal life, this made sense because I had a lot of success in corporate America, but I was lacking fulfillment. And when I did a Tony Robbins program, one of them, he says the same things, but when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And when I was ready, I finally heard him say, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I've been feeling. And so he said, sit down right now and write down everything that makes you feel fulfilled. And I'm like, rescuing dogs, being in nature, listening to people and pouring into them, like seriously, helping people get to where they're trying to go in life. And I saw that and I thought, I have no idea how I'm going to make money doing this, but I'm going to have to figure it out. And you guys know, the rest of the story. So, Cheryl said something at the wrap up and conference, and it's, when you make the decision, it's done. And it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this business. It doesn't matter if you're dabbling, if you're just offering it as to customers or patients. When you make the decision to go to the top, you're going to go. And that's where we are now. And so we will be NMD by the end of this year. It's been a pleasure to be here. Cheryl, I don't know where you are, but I think we're a little bit over time. So I'm going to kick it back over to you.
That's fine. Great. I think Jocelyn, you're closing it out, correct? So,
yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
And Christy, you stay with us, okay?
Okay, you got it. I'm just going to get some water.
Okay, well, I absolutely love everyone's stories. Dr. Nahas, I think it's amazing when MDs take the time out to learn about nutrition because I feel like it's something that truly heals the body and there's no quick fix in life, period. And so everybody's stories were completely amazing. I'm going to, whoever invited you tonight, make sure you get back to them, whether it's about the business or the product. It's definitely worth giving a try. Like I said, I was skeptical. Christy was pretty skeptical. We were all a little skeptical, but look at us now. And we're all thriving in the product and in the business. And we absolutely love this community. So I'm going to log off and we have a training with Cheryl and I will be right back.
Okay, is it my turn, Jocelyn? Okay, real good. Well, it's just such a pleasure to be here with everybody again tonight. Welcome, all of you. And always the stories are just the highlight. We know, definitely. Tonight, and if you're joining us for the first time, I'm Cheryl Cortezi. I've been with the Juice Plus Company now for right at 35 years. It'll be 35 years in January. And so it's still an amazement to me. And I can identify with all of you that said, no, never, never, not for me, never. I can remember thinking the first time Jeff Roberti, my sponsor, introduced this to me, I was an educator. I didn't make much doing that. But I can remember thinking, this is an insult to my intelligence. And it's so interesting because sometimes life pushes you in a direction you don't expect. Between just the difficulty of all of a sudden being single, children to, provide for, all of the things in life sometimes that can say, okay, it wasn't quite what you planned, it wasn't the way you thought it was going to work out. And so this was going to be something extra for me. And again, I wish there were words to explain just the whole, Christy talking about fulfillment and the happiness and the happy energy that is going around being part of this whole mission, the health aspect, the really being able to help people as far as stepping to their own autonomy in creating that security, that financial security that they need. And maybe that's, one of the things that spoke to me so loudly because I was in such need at the time financially, and it turned out to be a beautiful, wonderful answer. I never saw myself in business, and yet I just fell in love with the whole thing. And it's kind of been my love affair with the world for all these years. So tonight we wanted to do a few things. One is, as you may have heard already, and you may have participated in either virtually or live, is that we had our conference in Anaheim. Anaheim's about an hour down south from me. So I was fortunate. It was my first outing, you might say, as far as, stepping out of the COVID life that we've all been in, the pandemic. And I'm still almost just overwhelmed. I didn't expect to have the emotional reaction, the overwhelm of how happy I was to see people. To see them in 3D instead of flat screen, even though I've been very, very grateful for flat screen because we have had each other during this time. But it looks like we're stepping back out into the world again, and that's going to become more and more comfortable, but very exciting for everyone. As in talking to, some of the people at the home office today and just talking about where we are as a company, what we know from all the years of experience. The Juice Plus Company is actually 51 years old this year. And I've only been with them just merely 35. So we're looking forward to the next 35. But if we look at our nation, just this nation, I know the whole world, of course, is having issues of various kinds. But if we look at inflation, if we look at the need for income, if we look at the fact that now, it's becoming harder and harder for people to, for one reason or another, secure the type of work involvement that they would like. And so if you look at our years of experience, what's so amazing with our company and our product is that in really good times when the economy is flourishing, we do really well because people have discretionary income, they spend on the product, and it's always good. But we do extremely well in times where we're either about to slip into recession, which looks like there's a possibility here if that's not already started. And it's because we really become that that place where people can come and not only have a like-minded community and be part of something that's a mission, but have a real platform to create the monies that they need. And so I know we've heard this, and I heard Christy mention Eric Worre's GoPro. Just recently, there was an event, and I totally believe this because of my years of experience and because of what we've seen is the next 18 months, people will totally redefine And they have already started redefining how they're going to create income. And over the next 18 months, our profession will just absolutely explode. And our product line is simple. It's one that is very easy for people to understand. It's a product, it's food is something, and especially fruits, vegetables, berries, and omegas. We all know we need that. Everybody wants to be in control of their health and have that foundational health for immune health. And it makes sense to people that this would be a wonderful way to enhance and secure their income and be able to do it through their own choice of how they're going to go about building and developing a way to create income. So first thing I thought we'd do tonight is maybe go through and share a little bit about the event itself, the conference. Christy was there. I don't know if there's anyone else on the line that was at the conference live, but if you were, we're going to encourage you to speak up and share what your takeaways were. I was very proud. We had the first national marketing director to give her speech on stage was from this organization. That was LaToya Chin. She set a record for growth to national marketing director here in the US because she accomplished that in a year's time. There was a time when we would have thought that was impossible, but again, we're in a situation where we are going to be, you know, one of the lead companies in this profession, and we're going to be one of the leaders in just all professions as far as people being able to secure themselves financially and do it with joy and with purpose. And so, Christy, anything you want to share that you were takeaways from you from the conference, whether it be an event at the conference, our luncheon, our wrap up, whatever, just have at it. Okay, she doesn't know. She doesn't know I was going to ask her any of this. So these are all impromptu.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so important. And this is something that I didn't catch in the beginning. So, you know, it's so important to get yourself to conference. It really needs to be a non-negotiable because it checks all the boxes on belief in product and belief in community and belief in your upline and belief in the company and network marketing. And so you really want to build your business from conference to conference. And so if you're not going, if you didn't go to this last conference, Atlanta, October 13th and 15th is the next one. You want to make sure you are there, you know, make the commitment, hold yourself accountable, buy the airline tickets tonight, buy your ticket, you know, just commit to it and think about how many people you're going to bring with you. So how many seats are you going to commit to? Is it 5 friends? Is it 6 friends that are going to be there with you? It really makes everything very real. And if you want to go fast, you know, Cheryl, we did a private luncheon with Cheryl, 2 of them in a recap. And I think that that's really, that is so special. And Cheryl had said, you know, the people that are in this room leave with an edge. And it's so true. So don't feel bad if you didn't make this one. It's not a big deal. You can make the next one, but we do all leave there with an edge. And so you really just want to make that a non-negotiable. I love that the company is really, you know, they're really aligning with where social selling is going. And so, you know, you'll see some changes moving forward in terms of your customers being able to give a referral code to some of their friends and family to get a 10% off discount. So that's going to be an exciting thing that comes in the future. I love that we've rebranded our packaging. I think that, you know, I've been in sales for 20 years now. You always want a reason to go back to your people. You always want a reason to have an update. And so to see this beautiful packaging that matches where we are now as a company, on the back of the packaging, they are highlighting some of the things that, you know, that really sets us apart. And I think, you know, at this company, I don't know, I think it's so normal for us to be the most clinically widely studied nutraceutical in the world and to be NSF certified and to be, you know, very pure. But that's what the world is looking for right now. And everybody's looking for that. People understand toxins. So the fact that we have it on the back of our packaging I think is huge. I love that they put the farmers up there. So they don't dare tell us. And the people behind me were saying, like, I wonder, why don't they tell where the farmers are? It's because there'll be 900,000 Juice Plus distributors trying to find the farmland, and then we'll contaminate it all. They can't tell us, you know, but they did bring the farmers up, and they explained, you know, what goes into creating the crops and how nothing is GMO, and that, you know, the practices of better than organic. And that just makes it so real to see these guys that have been doing this for 30 years alongside of us. I could go on and on. The stories are so impactful from conference because, you know, you really get inspiration and you leave there going, if they could do it, I can do it too. Right. And so you just break through new barriers for yourself. So you may have set a goal, and I'll tell you, you know, in that private lunch, Cheryl talked about what these people did with Tower Garden in Canada and the number of sales. And I'm like, holy cow, I just set a whole new goal for myself. I didn't even think that was possible. But because I heard somebody else do it, I'm like, oh, of course that's possible. And now I want to break that record. So there's just a few things, Cheryl. I want to open it up to everybody else, but I could go on and on and on.
And, you know, if you saw it live, if you were there live, that's great. But if you saw it virtually, you got a lot of it. There were glitches from what I understand in the transmission of it. And so we're going to try to fill in as many of those gaps if necessary as we can. I do want to expand a little bit too on the story of the farmers, because I've been here, you know, when Juice Plus started. I've been with the company 35 years. So we've had Juice Plus almost 30. When I started, we were marketing water filtration and air filtration products. And the growers, actually, we have had the same growers. All the growing is done in the US. We've had the same growers, which are individually, you know, family type farms, but we've had them the whole time. It's been, the relationship has been with those same people the whole time. And what was interesting was that when the whole thing began to come together, they actually came to our company and interviewed with us to make sure that we would carry their message of purity properly. And I always loved that, because they were so committed to what they were about as far as the land and the food and the quality of the food, that if they were going to partner with us in this adventure, and we either own or lease all the fields that, you know, the product is grown in. And so it's very much hands-on. And I think that's an important aspect. It is, you know, a very important relationship, but it's an ongoing and very long relationship that's been very, I think, beneficial in every possible way, from a business standpoint, as well as a commitment to loyalty and trust of one another and what we do. And that the efficacy of our product is always just, you know, above and beyond anything out there. I also, you know, love the fact that we got to get together. We had our own organization in a luncheon and then in the wrap up. So we got to see each other, and that had been for a while. But I'm really going to encourage you. This conference, first of all, just to stay here just a minute, the one we just had, you know, it was kind of the transition conference. It was a bit fragmented from the standpoint that, you know, when it was put together, we had no idea that the state would even be open. It's only been the last 2 weeks that it's 2 or 3 weeks that it has been. So of course, people made plans all over the US. And the wonderful thing, we want to congratulate every one of you and every one of our distributors and partners throughout the world, but especially our US business, is that people just absolutely, you know, got up and did whatever they had to do to make their business work during this pandemic. I know for a fact that, you know, if I look at the investors that have, you know, come in to really enjoy the profits of what happens with us over the years to come, we were the only company, and they have many companies that they are invested in. Some are traditional business, some are, you know, our type of profession. We're the only company that held strong and held steady. Not that other companies necessarily went under, but they were a bit upside down because of the challenges of the pandemic. So congratulations to everyone in that regard. So this conference, you would say, was probably a little bit of a transition as we really step back out into the world. But this next conference is going to be referred to as the comeback conference. Okay, so live and in person. If you could just really look at, what's it going to take between now and the fall to make sure that you're there in person, that you have people with you. I want to talk about, ways to do that too, and here in just a minute. We actually see people many times who are invited at the very last minute to a conference and maybe even don't expect to do anything but go along in friendship to have fun somewhere else and fall in love with the whole idea. So up until the last minute, you want to be looking at, not only who's going to go with you, but how many people everyone else can bring. We're going to figure out how we're going to have our trainings and parties around it. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. Party is a very important part of our growing up, okay, in that state, in that part of the world. From the conference, there were a number of things. Again, very proud of the fact that we had one of the national marketing directors there. You want to use the stories of other people as well as your own. From a business standpoint, again, as we see someone go to national marketing director in record time, we're going to see more and more of that. We're going to see more and more people who will grow up into top position much faster, certainly, than somebody like myself. We didn't have the tools, basically, to grow as quickly as people do today. So it's a very important time. Over the next 18 months, there will be people who've never heard of us, never heard of our type of profession, who will take this on and really become huge, have huge businesses. Businesses that, equal any top corporation, top CEO anywhere. You will be heading, and you will have people who will head businesses like that, just because of where we are in the world today and what is needed, and that we fit that bill exactly. One of the things that I loved as far as the presenters was an outside speaker by the name of Donald Miller. And he wrote a book. I've already gotten it, and I'm going to encourage you, because we're going to use this in a book study, and it's called Building a Story Brand. What I liked about him so much is he was describing exactly what we do and how we have taught people to tell their story. But he gives you an excellent framework of how to fill that in and really be able to utilize, kind of like the words that you have reserved for the various responses, and you do it yourself, but it's to have that, words in your pocket, you might say, as you have conversation with people. So for next time we gather here, what I would encourage you is get this book, and let's just go through the first 2 chapters. If you want it now, it's nice big print, so it's going to happen fast. We're going to go through this fairly quickly because, again, it is really big words. Okay, so it'll be an easy read, but it's something that gives just that edge of clarity, and that's what I'm always looking for in my own business, in all aspects, is what's the one little thing that's going to sharpen the sword, you might say, sharpen what your proficiency at being able to really access the market. And the market is huge, and it's ours to claim. I was also talking with Simon Bowler, who heads up the European market. And they've been doing something here just recently as they're coming out of this pandemic. And he's calling it the power of 10. So when you heard Christy say, how many people are you going to have at conference? With their power of 10 idea is the first step is, who are the 10 people that you're going to invite in home, in present somewhere, whether you're meeting for a little small luncheon, you're having an event at your house, but people really want that person-to-person connection again. They want that 3D experience, you might say. So they're going to all 10x their business as they start with the power of 10. And if you have 10 people and you do an event, whatever event it might be, but it should be live. And then who are the 10 next customers that you're going to have. Start identifying that. Think in 10. And then, 10x. How are we going to 10x our business and continue to expand it? So everybody's brainstorming on where their 10 customers going to come from, where the 10 new team members going to come from that'll go to conference with you. One of the things too that they're noticing is that as they do things live now, and it's like almost going back for a reset, because that's how we all started our businesses for the most part, was live events. If you also have people who are stretched out of other parts of the country, I'm not saying not to use virtual. You definitely want to use virtual. You want to use social media, but make sure that their small groups are having live events as well, that you're mixing both live and virtual, and that you have that target, that commitment for the live conference. I remember and I don't think I've missed a conference other than the pandemic time when we had them virtually, but in the 35 years, because when I first started, my sponsor said, the only excuse to miss a live conference is death in your immediate body. So far, thank goodness that has not happened. And so I'm committed to that conference experience. But I think it really is, it will be the way to totally lift, to step back in, and to really take advantage, because over the next 18 months, as we really step into a whole new level of production, you're either going to watch the parade, you're going to join the parade, or you're going to lead the parade. And so as an organization, I would really encourage that we lead this parade, because it is going to happen. It's just the whole idea of people being out and about, and the need and the desire that they have for good health, and the need and the desire they have for autonomy as far as the way in which they create income. I think the person in Canada that Christy was referring to, and we're going to have them come on to this call as well with their stories and do a little training. But it was an organization that's been in place for many, many years. And then someone stumbled across a person who had, actually, she didn't stumble across her. She was in her business. She had, been someone who was doing a little business for, I think, 2 or 3 years. And she actually needed to go back to work and get a job. And she interviewed, she had 132 interviews, actually, and not one of them did she get the job, because her choice had been that she was not going to choose to vaccinate. And everybody, I think should have a choice of whatever they're going to do as far as themselves are concerned. And she said, well, I've got this Juice Plus business. I mean, maybe I'll just make something of that. And she went really in 3 months' time from, I think she was at like maybe a QSC or a Partner Plus, and she went to senior sales coordinator. But it's, again, the decision was made. And this is what I've watched my entire career, is when somebody makes a decision that it's now, it's my time, I'm fixing to do it, it is a mindset. So that mindset can carry you anywhere you want it to go. And we really keep seeing this, okay? We see it cycle, as people, they may not feel like that this is the thing they're going to do for their career. That's one thing that it's certainly for myself. I didn't expect this to be what it became, but then there was a point early on after the first year where I thought, this is it. I'm in love with this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put my all and my effort into it every way, shape, or form. It's going to be mine. And so that is really the foundation or the fuel. And sometimes, you have to be pushed a little. Maybe the girl's 132 interviews was a big push. But when the decision is made, the people are there, they're waiting. They're out there in the marketplace, they're in your community, they're in your local community, they're in your social media community, but they're there. So again, it's just a matter of decision. I've talked on and on here. I think we're right at the end of our time. Is there anybody else who would like to comment on anything from conference that was touching to you, or that spoke to your heart or your mind or your energy? Anybody? As we wrap this up.
I have one more thing to share while we wait for anybody else to come on. There was 2 gastroenterologists that came on, and I just love that, you know, they've been offering it to all of their patients, and they say their line to their patients is, I can make you better faster. And I love that, you know, I love that they knew what they saw with good nutrition. They both had been very focused on good nutrition, and that there may be other things that I need to fix immediately with, you know, with this patient, but I can make you better faster if we can get the whole body on board and get, you know, foundational health improved. And so that's been something, like you said, you're always looking for something to sharpen the sword, and that I will carry that message forward now. I've been saying that a few times, and it wakes people up. People pay attention when I say that.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things too, and one of the things you'll enjoy in this book is he talked about every story, you know, there's always the problem, the solution, the guide, and the hero. And he's the victim at times. So he said, you know, you want to identify the problem. And he said, then you want to be the guide. He said, not the hero. You the person who shows up becomes the hero. And so I love that, because even if I look at it, and I use from a business standpoint, our new national marketing director, LaToya, you know, she became in a sense, a hero as she grew to national marketing director. Everybody who grows to any position, that's, you know, it's the hero stance that your health gets better. You've become the hero in your own health. You've become the hero in your own business, but you need a guide. And so he's very good at helping you have the words that you become the guide. If I look at LaToya, she had the commitment, she had the desire, she had the work ethic, but her guide was Cynthia Gompers. And so every day Cindy would send her a little note, text, say, okay, this is the next thing you need to do as we're going to the next position. You need either this many customers, or, you know, what was the plan for the day going to be? And so she was the guide, and LaToya became the hero. That plays out in every conversation you'll see in this, as well as every development as you go through acquiring better health, acquiring a bigger business, you know, in all aspects of our business. So you're going to love the book, and we'll do it together. And then we'll just continue on with really taking advantage of everything that's available to us, but taking control. You know, you are the president and owner of your own business. You are the CEO of your company. So your choices every day are going to be activity that other people can model and duplicate, and that'll be simple. And so don't look for somebody else to, you know, do it for you. You take control of doing it. You become the guide. And so we become the guide really as an organization. We become the guide for all those people out there who really need us and need what we have. So as I said, we're a little past time now. It's been great to have everybody on the line. Thank you for the stories this evening, and we'll see you next week. And let's do the first 2 chapters of Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand. Okay, you're gonna love that. So bye, folks. Thank you all. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, everyone who talked tonight. We appreciate it. Good night.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great week.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much. Just great tonight.